with the recording. So good afternoon and welcome to all of you on behalf of the entire ELISE team, its action leader Francesco Pignatelli, and particularly, of course, on behalf of the ELISE knowledge transfer team. So today, Giacomo Martirano and myself, Simon Vrecher, both consultants at the GRC of the European Commission, will be hosting this webinar with the title Digital Platform for Smart Management of Infrastructures, the Public Lightning Case. First, before we proceed to the webinar, I would share with you a few details on ELISE, as you can see on the next slide. So the ELISE stands for the European Location Interoperability Solutions for e-Government and is a part of the ISA Square program. This is a European program aiming to provide cross-border and cross-sector interoperability solutions for public administrations, businesses and citizens. There are more than 50 actions tackling the interoperability, while ELISE is the only one focusing on the location dimension. Since the adoption of the ISA program in 2016, ELISE has supported building actually a location-enabled digital government, and the concept was built on the three important elements, so on the digital transformation, location, and interoperability. So ELISE will all its outputs, good practices, and legacy provide also firm inputs to the future activities within the digital Europe program, improving and enhancing the European interoperability by use of the location data and intelligence. As you can see on the next slide, ELISE aims to break down barriers and promote a coherent and consistent approach to the sharing and reuse of location data by supporting different European policy initiatives, by providing interoperable cross-border solutions and frameworks, by discovering emerging trends and technology, and by building geo-knowledge base. All these, as you can see on the next slide, has been done through 4 different types of outputs: studies, assessing enablers and barriers of location interoperability, frameworks and solutions, pilots and applications to test principles in practice, as we will see also today, and of course building up a knowledge transfer. As you can see on the next slide, in 5 years of its activities, ELISE reached and supported the European Interoperability Framework and NIFO with an extensive location interoperability framework and state of play assessment, helped also put Inspire directive into practice, built an extensive community of European and international stakeholders, also with the active engagement of the ISA Square member states, and provided 3 EIF toolbox solutions. But as you can see on the next slide, to achieve all these, knowledge transfer played also quite a central role. As we all know, knowledge transfer is a complex process of disseminating knowledge from one individual or organization to another one for solving problems, foster innovations, or increase the efficiencies. And on ELISE, it has been done by establishing a mutual beneficial collaborative community with all of its stakeholders, by creating an interactive environment enabling co-creation and open innovation, and of course by supporting, helping, turning outputs into the actionable knowledge. For this, all of different activities has been done under ELISE knowledge transfer. One of those are also the webinars, as is the ones today. But who we will have today as our speakers? So as you can see on the next slide, there are Nicoletta Gozzo and Laura Blaso, both from ENEA, so it's in Italian National Agency for New Technologies, Energy and Sustainable Economic Development, and Gabriele Giasulo from the Agency for Digital Italy. Now, before we are going to our speakers, I would ask Giacomo Martirano to maybe give some context of the project and also explain what will be on the menu today. So please, Giacomo.
Thank you, Simon. And let's start diving into from the overall ELISE framework to this specific webinar that we will have today. So let me give a bit of context how you are saying, entering into the application dimension of ELISE. So ELISE has developed, sorry, I'm seeing something appearing on my screen. So ELISE has developed cross-border pilots and applications to test location data interoperability principles in different sectors. In the marine sector, supporting obligations from the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. In the transport sector, giving support in the context of the Intelligent Transport System Directive. In the cultural heritage domain, exploiting a pan-European gazetteer service, but also and specifically in the energy efficiency sector, which is the topic of the webinar today, supporting public administrations, businesses and citizens engaged in the energy policies life cycle. In the links below, you see some material available on YouTube to have a glance of what we dealt with about. Let me go move to the next. Okay, in terms of location data interoperability principles and methodologies applied in the energy efficiency sector, two have been the main objectives: to leverage location data at building level as an enabling factor to scale up a set of methodologies to assess energy efficiency from local to district to city, regional level and beyond, and to use location-based data to support different types of stakeholders engaged in energy efficiency policies cycle. Exactly what we call a bottom-up approach, rather than downscaling national indicators, statistical indicators with some algorithms from national level to local level, leveraging on building data at very specific local level, building level, and scale up these kind of methodologies, dealing with different energy efficiency policies instruments, like the Energy Performance of Building Directive, the Energy Efficiency Directive, but not only directives, but also the Covenant of Mayors initiative. Why focusing on buildings? Because buildings are responsible for the 40% of the final energy consumption. Over 75% of building stock is older than 25 years, as we also learned in the renovate challenging area of the new Next Generation EU funds. Significant numbers in the average final energy consumption, and studies according to which extensive renovation of buildings could cut more than 36% of the energy consumption by 2030. But not only buildings, because we developed a series of use cases which were co-designed and co-developed with a series of partners in the frame of a multilateral non-monetary collaboration agreement, somehow also agreed and shared with the ISA Square working group members on geospatial solutions. And besides a series of use cases dealing with buildings in terms of energy performance certificates, harmonization of sustainable energy and climate action plans, harmonization of energy simulations based on 3D city models, and developing, studying and analyzing how geospatial information can support a regional energy strategy. We touched also other related sector in the energy efficiency, like the one that today we would like to share with you, based on a use case entitled the generalization at EU level of a digital platform for public lighting being implemented in Italy by more than 8,000 municipalities. And this is exactly the introduction to the more detailed presentations that will follow. So,
yes.
Simon, back to you.
Yes, before continue and diving deep into the PEL platform, we have a short poll questions for you. Actually, first one is referring to your affiliation. So please let us know that speakers will also understand which is your affiliation. So are you from European Public Administration, National Public Administration, regional? Are you from private sector, self-employed, academia, research, and so on? If we forgot something, please type in the chat box if there is something that we missed. The other questions we are asking to you is, have you ever dealt with digital platforms for the smart management of public lighting? I think this would be also important to know for our speakers to adjust maybe their explanation during the presentation as well. So please we take another 10 seconds maybe, and then we'll continue. We are slowly closing. Okay, and here are the results. So the most of you are from the public administrations, national, either national or European public administration. And it looks like that most of you have been dealing already with some digital platform for the smart management and public lighting. Thank you for this, and I will give the floor now to the next speaker, which is, I think, Nicoletta Gozzo.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, video. Okay, no, perfect. Good afternoon to you all, and I'm very pleased about your interest and the European community interest in our activities and projects. I am from ENEA, and I am the coordinator of Lumiere and PEL project and Smart Italy Goal project. Today we are focusing on Project Lumiere and PEL, but both projects are dedicated to, to the innovation and digitization of the management process of cities, services, infrastructures, and and also services. And the aim is of improving not only their energy efficiency as it was in the past, but mostly to improve their management efficiency, considering that the energy efficiency is a part and the result of the management efficiency of a system. The purpose of these projects is to develop new management model for strategic and energy intensive infrastructures and services. Strategic infrastructure that are strategic to leading the digital and ecologic transition. This result today can be achieved thanks to the current possibility of introducing new technologies and in particular the digital solution into the management chain of these infrastructures and services, enabling a new way of considering and observing cities and their needs. This new management model, thanks to these technologies, can in time achieve very high results in
sorry, Nicoletta, tell me when you want to switch to the next slide, please.
Yes, this is a okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. This is the second one. Yes. Okay. Yes, management chain. Yes. Okay. Perfect. And this new management model, as I was saying, thanks to these technologies, can in the future and in a short time achieve very high results in terms of cities' energy efficiency, sustainability, resilience, and also the appreciation of the citizen, enabling in this way cities to update at a level of at a smart cities at a smart city. For ENEA, smart city is not an ideal city, but is the ideal city for its context, its public administrators and citizens, in a really precise historic moment. Please, the next. Enea started this innovation process around 12 years ago, beginning with the public lighting infrastructure, and with the aim, as I told before, of improving the energy efficiency of public lighting plants that at that time were really not efficient at all and had really a disproportionate consumption and cost if we related them to the provided services and also to the high performing technologies that were at the moment available on the market or starting to be available on the market. The project name was originally Lumière. It was dedicated only to the public lighting service and was really focused only on reducing plant consumption and cost by the innovation and development of new technologies and by the realization of regeneration projects. The next, please. The first main and the critical issue that we had to face approaching this infrastructure and trying to understand why it was so inefficient was the big lack of data and information about its status, technologies, consumption, costs, services provided, the number of lampposts, kind of technology installed, maintenance frequency, and so on. In addition, the small amount of the existing data was coming from different sources, providing set of data without any value in order to elaborate a local and a national evaluation of the infrastructure. And in this way, there was not a unique or a national standard data sheet or national rules. This meant that each municipality and operator collected their data basing only on their own needs and way of management without any data sharing. Municipality didn't have a proper census data sheet. Only few of them had it, and few data. And in any case, the data collected was not complete and sufficient enough to evaluate the local and current infrastructure, and were really not relevant enough to make any comparison. So we therefore started with the identification of a set of data plans which for us and for all stakeholders were necessary and were strategic to know and to manage in an efficient way the public lighting service and the infrastructure. And we identified, we proposed, we developed, we tested a national minimum standard of knowledge for this infrastructure, so that the final aim was to develop a real census data sheet. The proposal has been constructed, has been tested, has been discussed and shared with all the stakeholders directly and indirectly involved in the management process of public lighting plants. And this because from the beginning, our philosophy, the philosophy of this project was to share everything, goals and result with all the stakeholders and with municipality. So that we define a real data model to collect and get to know the infrastructure and services provided, not only local level, but also a national one. And so we developed and proposed a real data model to the market. The next problem we faced was how to organize all the data and which kind of information we wanted to obtain from the integration of this data. Next, please. So that we decided to develop a platform, and we developed platform PEL. PEL stands for Public Energy Living Lab, and so the project changed its name in Project Lumiere and PEL. And the platform has been developed to achieve, to collect, to organize, integrate, evaluate, and upgrade and monitor the infrastructure status, and also the electrical and energy performances. But about this, my colleague Laura will discuss later. In this way, Enea promoted the development and application of a real technological and methodological solution, Progetto PEL, to enable in a digital way and at the local and at the national level a real system to collect, organize, acquire, evaluate, and mostly share the cost and the consistency of strategic infrastructure, starting from the public lighting one, and also to monitor consumption and performance. So that Enea promoted the development, as I said at the beginning, the development and the application of a real new management model for public lighting infrastructure. Enea introduced a new generation of management model of this infrastructure, starting from the definition and the acquisition of a minimum standard of knowledge and evaluation. Active in this way, PEL, we can say that today provides a real diagnostic tool to public administration, governance, and stakeholder. And this management model can, we can say that can nowadays be applied to all the strategic infrastructure, and where it's applied, it will provide first a dynamic picture of the skeleton, the network that supports the whole country, and a shared national information system. PEL has also has been adopted also by CONSIP, which means that probably the data of around 1.5 million of lampposts will be uploaded on the platform, and so that all these municipalities, if all these municipalities join the project, Italy will have a real standard of knowledge and evaluation around about the 10% of its public light infrastructure and services, and also a visualization of the state of consistency. CONSIP is a company that carries out activities to support public administration in procuring goods and services, and also management service or enabling redevelopment project. The next, please. So that PEL is today the first and unique proposal of an infrastructure knowledge standard realized at the moment for public lighting, but work is in progress also for schools, hospitals, smart service, and maybe also water resources. It's the unique and the only national and transparent platform by which this knowledge can be shared, and by which the infrastructure can be monitored and evaluated in its transformation, but also in its operation. And this kind of individuation, centralization, and the putting to system of an agreed minimum national standard of knowledge and the evaluation of data ownership about the public administration, we think today is indispensable, is really essential. In fact, in this way, we can manage the country's infrastructure dynamics. We can correct the dysfunctions, and we can organize and reformulate the resources to finance renovation project in a more focused manner. The next. And so we are working to extend this management process to the above mentioned infrastructures, and it would be a really great dream, and that this national standard and kind of platform could become a European one. In this way, we could achieve a really deep knowledge of the infrastructural skeleton, which supports and sustain all European countries, and in particular all European cities. Okay.
Thanks, Nicoletta, for this and for introducing us into the PEL initiative, the project, and sharing with us your European dream, which is very good, I think. And now I think that Laura will bring us a bit deeper into the platform itself. So Laura Blaso, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Simon. Good afternoon, everyone. I am the scientific manager of Enea PEL project. That is an innovative platform for the digital management of public lighting infrastructure. Please, the next. The most important keywords of PEL are network, Lumiere, and PEL. That is the starting point of the PEL project, because network includes all stakeholders, lighting designers, association, companies, and so on, that are involved and interested in public lighting. Stakeholder engagement discussion is very important to us, because when you want to implement a process, it is essential to share each step to obtain excellent results. The next word is census data sheet and data model, refer to static and dynamic data of the infrastructure, in this case, public lighting. After, we have services, refer to KPIs, urban indicators, tools, and so on. And the ICT platform, that it is the place where we store data. That is the heart of the PEL project. And finally, the numbers, because we have 8,000, more or less, municipalities in Italy, and 9 million of light points. It is not a real number, it is an estimated number, because nobody knows the real number of light points in Italy. And so this is the reason why we decide to involve the project in public lighting at first. The next, please. The starting point of PEL project is census data sheet, that is a strategic and standardizes information for the evaluation of public lighting system. For us, 3 words are most important: to know, to share, and to manage. To know the state of art of infrastructure, to know current level of innovation and technological potential, estimated redevelopment cost and payback time frame, and possibility energy savings and results of different technological solutions. All these information are important to know, to share, and to manage all infrastructure, and in particular public lighting. The next, please. This is the architecture of PEL. In particular, we have two different parts, static data and dynamic data. The art of the public PEL, is a database, because it's the place where we store it, all data. After, we have web services, that is the front end of the platform, and so the all user can connect to the PEL thanks to the front end. In particular, a user can upload census data sheet to have an assessment of infrastructure. And PEL provides performance analysis thanks to KPI performance indicator, diagnostic analysis, and benchmarking analysis, because it's necessary and useful to compare different technologies, different lighting plans, different situations, different cities. The second part of the ICT platform is referred to dynamic data. That refer to the energy and energy consumption and electricity parameters that utilities and or municipalities can send to the ICT platform in the JSON file. The end user of the PEL are both citizens, municipalities, stakeholders, government, regions, administration. The next, please. Data model. Data model is more important for the PEL, and was created thanks to the network, Lumiere and PEL, thanks to the census datasheet, and thanks to the AGIP, of course. The architecture of data model is structured by different parts. In particular, point of delivery, electrical panels that are connected to the smart meter for dynamic data, and to the light points that are the infrastructure of public lighting. When I talk about light points, I mean luminaires, lamps, and installation. And finally, the homogeneous areas, that means street with the same requirements. The next, please. About services, as I told, PEL provide KPIs, urban indicator tools, KPI, static KPI about technological, geometrical, but as usual, but available technology and dimming. Dynamic KPI that are referred to a real energy consumption, respect theoretical ones. Urban indicators refer to city, region, or nation, in this case Italy, of course. And tools for lighting simulation, economical and financial evaluation, we have SAVE tool, and shapefile, XML converter, and vice versa. The next, please. This is the front end of the PEL platform that it has been operating since 2019. The next, please. In the platform, in the front end, we have different sections. In particular, here we have a download section, because in the download section, user can download different documents, data model scheme, guidelines, example of census data sheet, tools, and there is a PEL verify procedures. The next, please. A new professional figures were invited thanks to this project because the stakeholders ask us a procedure to certify that they are able to produce census data sheet. Of course, we haven't thought about this, but this was an unexpected reply, and it happened. And so we invited a new professional figures. The next, please. PEL goals are different. We have the goals about census or public lighting installation, before and after redevelopment, static KPI, annual census to track changes, connection to PEL, refer to dynamic data with smart meters, dynamic KPI, WebGIS dashboard for visualization of installation, and urban indicators about aggregated data. The next, please. Where we are. Today, we have 13 Italian municipalities that have enjoyed the platform. We have more or less 8,000 light points collected. We have 2 big management facilities registered and 7 PEL verify user registered, but we are ongoing, of course. The next, please. The roadmap date. As I told, public lighting has been operating since 2019, but we have also new application, in particular application of buildings, schools and hospital. About schools, we have census data sheet and we have been starting the test of the census and we have a platform design. About hospital, we are in progress for the definition of the census data sheet, and also with the smart services that are services referred to public lighting in the smart cities, we are in progress for the definition of the census data sheet. For the next year, we will improve the water resources, and in the future, we can apply the PEL project for all infrastructures. That's all. I'm finished. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Laura, for sharing with us the details about the PEL platform. At one point, you mentioned that one of the organizations you would like to thank you for the data model was also Agit, and here we have Gabriele Ciasulo from Agit that will explain us more about the PEL data model. So please, Gabriele.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning to everyone. I am in Agit. I am responsible of database and open data service, and in this context, with the collaboration of Antonio Rotundo and Leonardo Donnaloia, co-authors of this presentation, I work in geographic information sector. Next slide, please. The starting point of in this presentation is the rules on the geotopographic database, DVGT, the National Reference Data Model, including the main base spatial layers. These rules are defined some years ago and represent a conceptual model implemented by the Italian regions for the management of their territories. One of the principal keywords of the Agency for Digital Italy is the interoperability. The definition of an interoperability model is a cornerstone of the public information system, and the agency promotes initiative systems related to the implementation of the digital agenda and support public administration in their projects. In this context, we first worked with the Ministry of Economic Development for the definition of the data model relating to SINFI, the National Federated Information System for Infrastructure, and after with the ENEA for the definition of data model relating to public lighting, always taking as reference the interoperability and once only principle. Of course, our works ensuring the consistency also will inspire data specifications. Next slide, please. So, as you can see, the geotopographic database model in gray on the left is based on 11 layers. For example, hydrography, orography, vegetation, etc. In a tree structure that include 2 other levels, themes and classes. So, working for the SINFI data model based on the needs of the Ministry of Economic Development, we defined some specific themes in the layers number 7, dedicated to the utility network in blue color in the slide. And finally, we developed and updated the data model of PEL project by ENEA for public lighting, introducing the theme number 8 in red color, in the utility network layer for the geotopographic database. I would just like to highlight how this solution, with this solution, the duplication of information between the various administration is avoided and the semantic and syntactic coherence is guaranteed. So, through the sharing of data, it will be possible, for example, to overlap the information related to public lighting with the information of geotopographic databases of the regions related to the street or the buildings, for example. Next slide, please. On the basis of this data model, ENEA is concretely implementing the PEL project for public lighting. The version 2.0 of the data model is recently adopted by ENEA after a public consultation and is published on our website geodati.gov.it, the Italian catalog for spatial data, where are available all the national technical rules on geographic information. The graphic on the left that Laura spoke before represent an organizational schema of the data model with the classes of the public lighting team and their relations. Next slide, please. So I wanted now to highlight our experience in this project. The PEL project is launched by ENEA, and we supported this administration for the definition of a data model with geospatial characteristics. We discussed the PEL project in the Geospatial Solution Working Group, where AGID is a component, and we proposed a possible linking of the PEL project with the energy pilot in the ELISE action. Looking at the vision of ELISE energy pilot, we think that an interoperable geospatial information, especially at the European level, is also a point of reference for the creation of value-added services and a good practice to share, especially in the other countries. In this context, a specific multi-part agreement was signed with the JRC, in particular to improve the coordination and the effectiveness of cooperation effort in the field of use of geospatial data and technologies to support of energy efficiency. So, in the context of ELISE energy pilot, a preliminary investigation was carried out to verify the possible existence of a similar initiative in Europe for the smart management of a public lighting system. We think that this is a good practice, and at the national level, we are starting to work with ENEA using the same methodology for the definition of school building and hospital data model. The other project in the context of a PEL project, yes. Next slide, please. So, at least for the same reason, we think that this work, the Italian public lighting data model, could be reused at the European level as base for a formal extension of the inspired data specification on utility and governmental services, in particular electricity network schema, just starting from the feasibility analysis already carried out. As you know, the location data play an important role in the context of Digital Europe program, and this could be a useful scenario for this proposal through the prosecution of the ELISE action. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriele, for presenting to us this. I think now we are coming to the point that Giacomo will summarize and convey some messages. Giacomo is also the coordinator of this activity from the GRC side. So please, Giacomo, what would be your messages? So before you're sharing the messages, I would like to challenge you if you have any questions, comments, or anything. So please in the chat box so we can address them later on in the Q&A section. So please, Giacomo, sorry.
Thank you very much, Simon. So let's try in this slide to sum up what we learned in the previous 40 minutes. I think we can all agree that a good practice of a national digital platform for the smart management of public lighting has been shared and has been presented. We highlighted also great potential for extension to other types of infrastructures like hospitals, schools in the context that Nicoletta explained as a support in new management processes for the critical infrastructures at urban level. I think we also have quite comprehensively shared the benefits for the three main types of stakeholders addressed by the ISO² program, namely the public administrations, because most importantly, there is a possibility to spend less for paying the energy bills, because a better management can gain more efficiency. Also for businesses, because there is an increased competitiveness and also more jobs, as also Laura highlighted, with a new professional figure emerging to support the overall process. And last but not least, to citizens, because they can have also better services, because I guess you have noticed that there is a new feature type called homogeneous area. So streets having the same homogeneous illumination, but also other services that can be mounted, installed on a pole, like Wi-Fi hotspots or video cameras or things like that, can be easily implemented. We have also started, as Gabriele pointed out, an investigation on the reusability of the good practice in other countries. We are aware that the survey was not so exhaustive, but thanks to the support of the colleagues, members of the working group of ISO² on geospatial solutions, we got replies from 12 countries, so not exhaustively, but from the 12 countries, it seems that there are no similar practices yet, but of course, new similar good practices will emerge. It will be a good opportunity to analyze overlaps and gaps to come to the envisaged European data model and platform. Location iterability is the main enabler of the digital platform that we just presented, because it's based on geospatial data made interoperable. And I think we can all agree that what we shared so far represents a concrete example of location intelligence applied in a smart city context, just to highlight some keywords which are more and more emerging. So to start stimulating also some discussion after a second poll that Simon will share soon, it would be good to take also this opportunity to learn from you about any possible existing good practice in other EU countries, similar to what you just saw, as a concrete example of smart management of energy saving using a good twin of digital platform and location intelligence. I think with this we can provide a good comprehensive view of what we just learned so far. So Simon, just before giving back to you the floor, just to tell you that in terms of reusability at European level, following up what Gabriele said, we already started analyzing the utility network schema of Inspire and looking at the electricity network. There is a straightforward possibility, for instance, to extend the electricity appurtenance code list, where already delivery point is there, and other types of appurtenance nodes, but analyzing also the dynamic part that Laura presented, we believe that just as a feasibility analysis, that adding new feature types to the core model of Inspire is quite a straightforward activity, but of course this needs to be analyzed in more details in the future.
Yes, thank you, Giacomo, for giving a clear summary and let's say messages. So now we are continuing with the Q&A section. So please switch to the next slide. I think also a few other cooperation of the ISO² working group and other member states has been mentioned as well. Here I see here some representatives, Lars, Morten, Tomasz, maybe we will ask you for some comments later on. But before we would like to start with another poll. asking you some further questions about, let's say, how, after having heard that today, what is your opinion? So, for example, on the PEL project data model, so do you think it would be reusable in your country or region or whatever geographical form you're representing? So 1 is minimum, 5 is maximum. The same question we would pose as well for the digital platform PEL project itself. So would you find it reusable? And of course, do you think that solutions of the PEL project are extendable in your country or region in other sectors? So for example, schools, hospitals, that was also mentioned already. So let's maybe give here a bit more time so you will be able to think about. In the meantime, I will check if there are any questions during the webinar. I don't see so far any question. So let's wait for some more answers. So let's maybe wait another 10-15 seconds, and then maybe I will invite also the speakers to comment the results a bit. Okay, let's start closing the polling. Thank you very much. So sharing the results. So what we see regarding the data model, so I think that most of you somehow, let's say, agreed that it would be useful to reuse it in the country or region. So I don't know, maybe Gabriele, any additional comment on that?
Yes, I think that if there is a follow-up to the ELISA action in the DEP program, in the Digital Europe program, it is necessary, I think, that to make all possible to share this experience in the countries, and to start a concrete analysis, extended analysis to reuse this data model as a basis for common data model at European level. Probably with the necessary, with some extension of and some specification of the Italian data model in this moment. But I think that this is a very important topic for the next action. Probably will be elite. I think I remember the next section in the DEP program. Okay. Because this is a real situation of concrete application of the interoperability and once only principle.
Okay, thank you, Gabriele, for your comment. Maybe take a look at the next polling question. So, to what extent the digital platform of PEL project is reusable in our country region? So here as well, the most of answer were yes, 5. Then it's number 3, and so on. So maybe Laura to comment this.
Yes, the answers are interested. I can say that we have been working since 2020 with another country, in particular Algeria, to share the PEL project for lighting, public lighting, with another place, because we believe that this model, this platform, this management of the infrastructure could be useful for other countries. So we will happy to share and to share data model, to share infrastructure, to share all information with others. So we will a pleasure for us.
Okay, thank you, Laura. And last but not least, so the last polling question, which was referring to the relation to the extensibility of the PEL project to other sectors in your country. So, for example, schools, hospitals, and so on. Maybe Nicoletta will elaborate on the results here.
Okay. Yes, I think it would be a great result, and it would be really useful for our country, but I think for all countries to have a sort of national shared standard of knowledge of these infrastructure that are considered strategic and very important to lead the digital transition and the ecological transition. And we are working for schools, hospital, and also smart services, and we have been asked also to work for water resources, and at the moment we have only activate a table of work. But I think that this model can be extended to all to all infrastructure and service that are that we need to have a concrete knowledge about them, and mostly on this infrastructure. Then about them we have to have a concrete evaluation of their function and quality level of performance. This also in the optic of energy efficiency, not only management efficiency. So I think it would be a good deal to to work in this way. And also it would be a good deal to work in this way at the European level, because the work is the same. We are talking about infrastructures and services which are the same all over the world. Maybe more the level can be different, but skeleton, I mean the first step is the same. Knowledge is general knowledge. I think is mandatory for a country to be disposed.
Yes, thank you, Nicoletta, for your additional comments. Any other comments from the public, maybe from the member states? Any final comments from you, Giacomo, maybe?
Not for me. I think it was great, and I would like also to highlight what Nicoletta mentioned about CONCIP, because CONCIP is another let's say label identifying a platform for enabling public procurement, and the way how the digital platform that we just saw has been or is being integrated into the public procurement platform is a good example of how location interoperability can support procurement processes for public administrations, which is another good achievement, another good direction to look into.
Indeed. So the use of and the benefits of the interoperability, that it's very important here. So if this is not the case of the questions, so thank you very much at this point to all of you, to all the participants, of course, to all the speakers. And as already posted into the chat box, join the ELISE community and join up to be informed about our activities, and subscribe to our video channel, and hope to see you soon at our next edition of webinars. So we will be informing you through our channels. Thank you very much and have a nice day.